From the beautiful city, Chicago, Illinois, Comcast Sportsnet is proud to present White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Carlos Quentin, Alexei Ramirez and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Trevor Cahill and the Oakland Athletics. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you the first of this four-game set. As you know, the Sox were trying to sweep Seattle last night and lost a toughie. Tied it up, went into extra innings. We virtually gave them 3 runs in the top of the 10th. They won it 7-4. So we're taking on the Oakland A's. We played them 6 times this year. We have split the 6. And trying to go 4-3 against these guys tonight with Mark Buehrle.
Mark Buehrle, a good man to go to the mound because he's 16-9 lifetime against this Oakland club. And normally the Sox have had problems with the A's, but the A's are really banged up, especially in the pitching staff. You won't see it tonight, however, because Trevor Cahill goes to the mound, and he's a good-looking young sinker baller. He has a good curveball. He's got a good changeup. This guy at 6-3 in his ERA in the mid-2s has been just about their toughest pitcher, along with Gio Gonzalez. But they don't score very much, and Mark Buehrle would like a win tonight.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Billy Beane decided to make a change in management. And that means the departure of Bob Guerin, who managed his team for a little over 4 years. And Bob Melvin, who managed 2 years with Seattle, 4 years with Arizona, finishing second, fourth, first, and second with the Diamondbacks, winning a round in the playoffs in 2007 as they took the Cubs out in 3. And Melvin, a very good manager, probably the right man for the job, and certainly a man who was available. And I don't think Billy Beane could have made a better choice than Bob Melvin. Let's take a look at the first lineup for Bob Melvin. Coco Crisp is going to lead it off. Cliff Pennington hitting second, and Connor Jackson, Josh Willingham, Kurt Suzuki, who's always hit Mark Burley well, Matsui, Rosales, a local kid, DeJesus, and Jemile Weeks playing second, hitting ninth. The Suzuki defensive setup and how they will line up behind Mark Burley, Pierre Rios, and Quentin left to right. Vizquel, Ramirez, Beckham, and Konerko. A.J. Pierzynski get the nod behind the plate. And the Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is Mark Burley. Mark Burley looking for win number 6. His ERA a touch under 4. And last time out, he threw the ball pretty well. Follow all of tonight's stats and info in real time with White Sox In-Game Live only on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by The Great Escape. The Athletics last night flew in from Baltimore, were rerouted to Springfield as the airports in the city were closed down. It took them 8 hours to get from Baltimore to Chicago, spend mostly on the runway in Springfield, and they got in at 6 o'clock this morning. So that and a 9-game losing streak, it's a good night to play in. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Hawk Harrelson.
All right, Stone Pony, thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for the first of this 4-game series. And Coco Crisp gets set to look at the first pitch of the ball game. And there's strike one. Crisp comes in hitting at .262. A couple of homers he's driven in 20. Crisp last year hit .279, 8 homers, and drove in 38. As the count moves to 1-2.
Oakland doing something that's most unusual. Best pitching in the American League. Second worst defense in the American League. And normally that doesn't work.
Well, bad defense will take a good pitching staff and turn them into losers. Well, the ERA will be okay, but the W and L's are
not many W's to be had. No.
That's first rule in baseball. You got to catch it. And that's out number 1. So that'll bring up another switch hitter, Cliff Pennington, hitting at .260, but he has been swinging the bat well. His last 26 ball games hitting at .311. Lifetime against Burley is 3-9. Oakland comes in hitting at .238 with a brilliant 3.23 ERA.
Pennington a much better hitter from the right side. That's how he looks out at Mark Burley.
And besides this 9-game losing streak they're on, in the last 21 games, they are 5-16. Alexei. And that's 2 down. As I mentioned in the open, this is the 7th meeting between these two clubs. In the first 6, we split them.
The umpires tonight. Home plate, Brian O'Nora, first base, Alfonso Marquez, second base, Ed Hickox, and their crew chief, Ed Rapuano, is at third.
So here's Connor Jackson. Hitting at .269, a homer, and 15 knocked in. Outfield straight up, spread out. That's fair ball. Burley's got him. That didn't take long. 1-2-3 after a half inning of play. It's the A's nothing, and the good guys coming to bat.
It's going to be Pierre leading off and Ramirez hitting second. Carlos Quentin, who had a couple of home runs last night, hitting third. Paul Konerko, who's had a great year in the cleanup spot. Then it's Brzezinski, Rios, Dunn, Vizquel, and Beckham rounding it out. The Suzuki defensive setup. Now the lineup behind Trevor Cahill, Willingham, Crisp, and DeJesus left to right. Rosales, Pennington, Weeks, and Jackson at first. The catcher is Kurt Suzuki, a good one. And the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher, Trevor Cahill, who's 6-3. A spectacular 2.65 ERA. And he's got a great sinker and a very good straight change. And pound the ball into the ground a lot against him.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours, as that one didn't sink. Pierre hitting at 256, a homer. He's driven in 14. He's had trouble with Cahill. He's faced him 16 times, has 3 hits. There's a strike.
You'd like to jump on the sinker ballers in the first 2 innings, while they're still too strong and the ball isn't sinking quite as much.
Sox hitting at 254 as a club. And there's going to be a little looper to the shortstop. So he's now 3 for 17. And here's Alexei hitting at 295, 6 homers. He's driven in 31. And here at beautiful USA it'll field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. That's up high. And there's another little soft looper. So 2 down.
Here's our United Airlines leaders of the game, and even with a decimated pitching staff, and they've lost 60% of their rotation, they still lead the American League with that 3.23 ERA. That's to this point. They're going to have to mix and match now with McCarthy out, Anderson out, Braden lost for the year, and Anderson went to get a second opinion on his elbow from James Andrews. It's never a great thing.
Here's Quentin. Hitting at 271, 17 homers, 45 knocked in. 1 for 6 lifetime off Cahill. Cahill 6'3", 6. He's 20. Check that. 23, 6'4", 226. There's the strike, and the count evens at 1. Out of Oceanside, California.
This is the first game back playing third base. Adam Rosales had a broken ankle. It healed slowly. He's from right here in Chicago, a local product, getting the nod at third.
And that's outside. Two out, 2 balls, 2 strikes here in the bottom of the first. No score if you're just tuning in. Konerko on deck. First of 4 against these Athletics. Popped up. Suzuki. And that didn't take long. 3 up, 3 down after 1, no score. Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in as Dan talks sports with your favorite athletes, celebrities, and sports media personalities. So get your sports day started with the Dan Patrick Show weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Josh Willingham, Kurt Suzuki, and Hideki Matsui here in the top of the second inning to face Mark Buehrle. Willingham hitting at .239, but he has 10 homers and he's knocked in 39. He's dangerous. High, should be a can of corn. One out. Justin Verlander on the bump, top of the 5th inning at Comerica Park against Seattle. No score in that ball game. As 0-1 to count to Suzuki.
Last year was a down year for Suzuki. And this year, offensively, starting out pretty much the same way.
That ball smoked back through the middle. So that's the first hit of the ball game. Suzuki now 10 for 24 lifetime off Buehrle.
And the Dodge pitch tracks, we'll take a look at a changeup low and away and a good one. In a perfect spot, but Suzuki just takes it right back up the middle. Past Mark Buehrle, which is tough to do, and winds up with a base hit.
That's exactly the approach you should have against, if you're a right-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher with a good changeup, try to rake him right off the mound. So here's Matsui hitting at .209, and that's trouble. So Suzuki in the 3rd and with 1 out. A's have runners at the corners.
Good thing Carlos got to that ball as quickly as he did, because you're still in a double play situation. And Matsui hit the ball awfully hard. First ball looked like a cutter up in the zone. Carlos does a nice job of keeping the double play in order.
So here's Rosales. 1 for 7 on the season, and that one hit, a homer. Want to know the count to the 28-year-old third baseman.
He was pretty disappointed that the healing took as slow as it did. Thought he'd be back much sooner.
And there's the base hit. It is 1-0 A's.
An early lead for the new manager, Bob Melvin.
Well, that's the thing about it. We always talk about it's not who you play, but when you play them. The last thing you want to do is play a team that's been going bad, and all of a sudden they change managers.
I wanted him to win the game last night, only because I don't want to see him come in with the 9-game losing streak still intact. And of course, we didn't know there was going to be a new manager, but that usually gives a team a spark.
I'm just the opposite. I wanted them to get killed last night. I like for the team that we're going to be playing just to get brutalized in the series before us. And you know, it's one or the other, one page or one side of the other.
Well, that plane ride they took last night scared a few of the guys, because apparently it was not real comfortable before they had a touchdown in Springfield.
Well, I remember the only game we lost in postseason in 05 was to the Angels, first game of that series, when they had been traveling cross country for 3 days in a row, playing different teams, and they were dead tired. They came in, they beat us 3-2.
Well, it's not going to affect any of their guys tonight. I'm thinking it affects them tomorrow night.
That's popped up. So DeJesus is retired. 2 down. And that'll bring up Jamal Weeks, 24-year-old infielder, who's 2 for 7 since being called up.
His brother, Ricky Weeks, one of the stars of that resurgent Milwaukee Brewer ball club. And apparently Jamal didn't get a whole lot to eat with Ricky in the house, because Ricky is big and strong. Jamal is
5'9".
Well, 5'9". Yeah, that's he's 5'9", okay.
Checks it up.
He is one thin guy. First round pick, 12th overall in 2008. A pretty decent bat.
Little softy, comebacker. But they do get on the board. A run on 3 hits, no errors, 2 left after an inning and a half, 1-0 Athletics. our director and the crew. Going with AJ. Stone Pony's going with Adam Dunn, and some of the greatest clubhouse guys in baseball and sports. Vinny Fresso, Gabe Morrell, Joe McNamara Jr., and Rob Warren. We're going to go with Alexei. But Cahill's got himself a 1-0 lead.
He does that, and he's made 7 wild pitches this year, so we've got to get somebody on to take advantage of that particular statistic. This Oakland team has really scuffled to score runs, but they put one early one up there.
And here's Paulie. Takes first pitch strike. Paulie hitting at .316, 14 homers and 47 knocked in. And the count 0-2. Paulie has faced Cahill 13 times, has 2 hits, both of which have stayed in the park. Little breaking ball. So 1 out, and that'll bring up AJ. And you and 9 friends could score tickets to a White Sox game as they take on the Cubs. You could also throw out the first pitch for a chance at $1 million. Wow. So for your chance to win other great White Sox prizes, go to tastepoints.com. $1 million. AJ hitting at .269, a couple of homers. He's driven in 19. Tails outside. AJ 4 for 17 lifetime against Cahill with a homer. Burley beat Cahill back on the 15th of May out at the Coliseum. Three and 0. And there is 4 in a row. So the first Sox base runner, and that'll bring up Alex Rios. This should be a pretty good fit for Alex, unless he gets 3 breaking balls over from the middle out. Then I don't care who you are, it's a bad fit.
Okay, Hill normally with very good control. He's not going to strike out or wow you with his strikeouts, but he's got good movement.
0-1 the count. Yes, he does. That movement takes the ball off the sweet meat of the bat. You don't have very long to center it up anyway. But when it's moving, whew, a little tougher.
Cahill, a 2nd round pick in 2006. They're turned into one of the aces of their staff. Last year for these same Athletics, and they were not a great team by any stretch of the imagination, he was 18-8 with a .297 ERA. That's very impressive.
And there is a base hit. So you can cancel a post-game show.
It's a broken bat. As that ball moves inside, Alex able to get enough of it. Put runners at first and second. Only 1 out.
So here's Adam. Hitting at .176, 5 homers. He's driven in 23. Breaking ball strike. Adam has been watching the last couple of days. And that hit him. So that will load him up. A walk, a single, and a hit by a batsman. That is just the second guy that Cahill's hit this year.
He's only thrown one ground ball, and he's in a jam here in the second inning. And that's indicative of a guy that's having trouble with his sinker, certainly having trouble with his location. And with a good at bat by Omar, he'll have trouble keeping the lead.
Omar hitting at 278, and he has faced Cahill 17 times and has 9 hits. Sacks packed with Sox. Outfield. Short swung around to the left. Nice gap in right center.
One thing that will come into play, this is not a good fielding Oakland team. They have had a lot of moving parts. Good speed at second.
There's a strike, and whoever's the umpire behind the plate makes a huge difference for Cahill. A guy that'll stay with that good moving sinker that comes back.
And he also has to be given the mid-knee strike.
Nope. Rosales, boy, he went over there.
I think he missed it. Well, he just misjudged the ball.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he went over there so hard, so fast, and just overran it. So hopefully a huge break. And you just said it. The defense.
Yep, this should be an error. It hit his glove. It was not a difficult play. He's got room. He just misses it. We'll take it.
And that will be an error. And once again, the 1-2. Suzuki is good. And we'll show you what he does before the inning starts. Every inning he does it. Now watch when he goes out there to get behind the plate.
One of the things he knows for sure with Cahill is that he's been throwing a lot of sinkers in the dirt. As that 7 wild pitches will hold testimony that he can bury it down in the dirt, and I guess Suzuki wants to smooth it out for no bad hops so he can smother the sinker.
That's it. That ball hit in the gap and is caught. Meanwhile, AJ will tag, so the error has tied this ball game up on a sacrifice fly by Omar Vizquel, our 44-year-old phenom.
RBI number 8 for Omar. Got a second opportunity and delivered his first sacrifice fly of the year.
Don't stop now, boys. As here's Beckham hitting at 239, 6 homers and 21 driven in. Allen came back to catch the corner, says Honora. And indeed it did. And a blueprint.
This one just a little bit better pitch than the first one. Both with the same idea. Moving fastball.
The 0-2. Rosales on the short hop, and they don't get him. He beats it out. Sox still packed.
Take a look at Rios at second base. He gets a good jump, and he passes right in front of Rosales, who can't come and charge the ball. Tries to gun it across. Beckham outruns the arm.
Come on, Juan, make them pay. They've already paid with one. Make them pay with 2 or 3. He a little soft looper to Pennington. It's short. There's that tail end movement on that fastball from Cahill.
It's not an overpowering fastball, but it doesn't have to be.
That's low. No, a hitter would much rather have one mid to high 90s that's straight than that one right there.
We've seen a few of those before, especially when they're thrown to Paulie and they wind up in the seats.
Change up. Two out, 2-1 to count. Rios, Dunn, and Beckham, the runners. And the count 3-1. Don't help him out. And that's ball 4. It is 2-1 White Sox.
And a little break in the action. Ron Romanek, who played in the Oakland organization for a while, has a word with Cahill, who's hit 1, walked 2 this inning. Most un-Cahill-like.
And here's Alexei. He also broke his bat and hit a little looper to his counterpart, Cliff Pennington. Change up, strike.
It's 27 pitches in this inning. He used a relatively few to get through the first inning.
And very quickly, 0-2 to Ramirez. Stay with it. Quentin on deck if Alexei can reach. That could be trouble. He's going to come home. No! He's safe. 3-1. That'll be a hit. And an RBI for Alexei.
I mean, number 32, and Cahill might be injured. He went after this ball awkwardly, and what they can ill afford is yet another starting pitcher. Their best starting pitcher on the shelf. He landed hard on his knee and his right shoulder. And Adam Dunn clearly beats the play, the call by Brian O'Nora. It's a great effort, but he had no angle for the throw.
That was a terrific effort by Cahill and a terrific effort by Suzuki. Meanwhile, the Sox are going to hit around here. And that error has jumped up and put 3 on the board for us. Says he's all right. Don't stop now, boys. Let's go. Let's have some fun tonight. Quentin stands in. He fouled out to Suzuki to end the first inning. So the 9th hitter to come to the plate. First pitch strike. Sinker at 91.
Well, if Cahill can stay out there and get that call, he's going to be a little tougher than he's been.
That's foul. Right size, wrong shape. Yeah.
Not many folks in that section. You don't really expect to get a souvenir, but that's a high sinker. And high sinkers go a long way. Unfortunately, Carlos got around a little too quickly, and he knew it right away.
Meanwhile, the count 0-2. Oh, he got a cookie right there. Didn't do anything with it. Cahill knows he got away with one right there.
Yeah, 91. More times than not, this one's going to be hit awfully hard. It's up and right down the middle of the plate.
Breaking ball. He went. Marquez rings him up. But we put a 3 spot on the board and we lead it 3-1. look at the check swing strikeout here by Quentin. Now watch Carlos. The umpire didn't. Nora didn't call it. Now Quentin's asking him to get the umpire first to call it. And he says, grab some bench.
Doesn't like the result.
I don't think that's a good idea.
No. The appellate court ruling didn't go Carlos's way.
No, Nora didn't make the call. Adrian Beltre does that.
A lot.
So here's Crisp. The 0-1 pitch. Crisp grounded out to Alexei. 3-3-0 for our guys. 1-3 and a huge 1 for their guys.
Here's our AT&T Uverse Multiview center field camera from Mark Burley. Omar Vizquel, because a lot of these right-handers are going to pull the ball.
And a full count. Had him 0-2. Let him back in. Outfield straight up, spread out. Boy, that's unusual for Mark. 0-2 and walks the leadoff man. The dreaded leadoff walk.
Especially one with some speed.
18 for 23 in stolen bases, but you got Burley out there. Cut that down a little bit. And here is Pennington, who also grounded out to his counterpart, Ramirez. There's the strike. Long look down at Mike Gallego, former infielder, the coach at third. And the count 0-2 to Pennington.
That ball came up and hit him, but he was in the batter's box, emphatically pointed out by Brian O'Nora. Was bouncing straight back. He hadn't had a chance yet to leave the box, so he will be in an 0-2 hole.
Watch out. Pitching matchups for the series. Tomorrow night, Edwin Jackson against Graham Godfrey. Then Johnny Danks against Gio Gonzalez. In the finale, Phil Humber against Guillermo Moscoso.
This Oakland team has 6 players disabled, 5 of them pitchers. And 60% of their starting rotation is currently not available. So that man you're looking at, Bob Melvin, has his work cut out for him.
The 0-2 pitch. That's high. And that is real close to being a shank.
Went right into the Oakland dugout and scattered the crew.
And that's high. 2-2. Gap out there, small gap. in right center. Mark ready with the 2-2. Got him picked off. Attaboy, Paulie. No throws. Now that's the way to get that play done. No throws.
Chris with nobody out, leaning the wrong way and taking off on first move, but that first move got him out.
Well, he gets back. If Paulie makes the throw to second right away, he comes back into first. So Paulie, a good heads up anticipation right there.
You can follow him. You can run at him, which you should do to get him moving. But once you deliver the baseball, you got to be out of the path, because a good base runner is going to turn right back and try to run into you.
Had him 0-2. Now it's full. And there's a knockdown, pick him up, and can't get him. So it'll be a base hit.
That pickoff looming larger now.
Well, with that situation right there, Chris was on third. So you'd have a man on first and third, nobody out. And that'll bring up Connor Jackson.
Gordon does a nice job just knocking this ball down.
But he wouldn't have got to it if Chris was on base. He'd have been trying to deke him and hold him close. That's into center field. Alex is right there. Jackson hits it right on the money. Meanwhile, 2 down.
Willingham really is the only home run threat in this lineup. It's a lineup that has produced just 34 home runs in 63 games.
He's dangerous. Takes ball 1.
The Oakland team is struggling. Those are the numbers and where they're ranked statistically, which is way down there in just about everything offensive.
Breaking ball. He did not go. And the count 2-1.
Willingham had a solid year last year with the Washington Nationals. Tough park to hit home runs. He hit just 16 of them. But 268 is a fairly respectable average.
Gallego will make that play. Well, Adam said, Gunn told me in spring training, you just can't believe how hard it was to hit the ball out of that ballpark.
Especially at night. At night, it's very difficult.
The 2-2. Alexei, and that'll do it. So he walks the leadoff man, picks him off, and we'll go to the bottom of the third, leading by 2.
who is currently the longest tenured manager in the American League. You think about that one? And we'll get back to you a little later in the game.
As you check out our Comcast Sportsnet tail of the tape, Paul Konerko will lead it off here in the bottom of the third. And a reminder, join the Chi Sox mobile group by texting Paul, that's Paul, to 244-769 for a chance to win an autographed Paul Konerko bat. Chi Sox mobile users get special offers, exclusive deals, and more. Text Paul to Chi Sox 244-769 to be entered to win. That's a nice prize. Autographed Paul Konerko bat. That ball hit hard. One hopper. So Paulie is grounded to second and grounded to short. One pitch, one out, and that'll bring up A.J. A.J. walked on 4 pitches. Tigers leading Seattle 4-1. Detroit hitting in the bottom of the 7th. Glenn Bosch has homered. Alex Avila has tripled. Takes the bunt, takes the ball. Takes another one. And the count 2-0. That's 7 in a row off the mark to A.J. There's one. Watch out. Boy, that was close. A bullet back almost in the gut.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay. Cahill surprisingly can't get the glove down on the glove side. That ball went by him a lot harder than it came in.
Here's Alex. Takes that one low and away. Well, we discussed it the other day. They call third the hot corner, first.
Yeah.
Right down there. 60 feet 6 inches away is where the hot corner is.
Well, when you deliver the baseball,
round, I should say.
You deliver that baseball, most guys about 55 feet away from the hitter, and they come back in a hurry.
You know, I think I told you that story about when I hit that shot back through the middle, hit that big left-hander right in the head, and he finished that inning, went down, got up, finished the inning, came back out there and just walked off the mound. He didn't know where he was. He had a concussion. You know, I went for like 2, maybe 3 years trying not to hit the ball back through the middle.
Well, it's dangerous, and believe me, when you pitched to Frank Howard and you watched him in the box and you realized, number one, how far he could hit it, but number two, how lively his bat was, he was frightening to face, literally frightening to face.
Breaking ball lays off that.
Well, you knew that if Howard hit the ball back through the middle, you had big problems.
Well, that's one reason that, you know, he was a great fastball hitter, and that's one reason a lot of guys just kept throwing in fastballs middle in.
Let him pull the ball.
Yeah, they didn't want third baseman playing way back on the grass where the umpire is. I saw him take Rich Rollins' glove, who was playing on the grass about 8 or 10 feet, right off his hand into left field. As A.J. took off, and that's foul.
They weren't paying much attention. So A.J. got a good jump. but he has to go back.
So the count remains full. There he goes. And that sends to center field. Crisp is going to make the catch. So Alex is now 1 for 2 with a run scored. And that'll bring up Adam Dunn, who was hit by a pitch and came around to score last inning.
That was one of the key at-bats of that inning, you know.
All right, Senator.
He doesn't get hit. It's a completely different inning.
Or should I say Congressman?
No, please. If chosen, I will not run.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch. Way back at the ball. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Stone Pony.
Adam Dunn. That one the opposite way. If you hit like that, then pitchers aren't going to try to stay away from you. Eventually they'll come inside. Our Ford home run replay is a sinker essentially right down the middle. And Adam goes the opposite field for his 6th home run.
So here is Omar. Omar takes that change up for a strike. He had a sacrifice fly after getting a redeemer. He had a little pop up that Rosales overran, hit his glove, dropped it, gave him new life, and picked up an RBI.
And there's Adam. AJ said, "I got you another RBI, pal. Stick with me."
That's probably what he sold.
We're going to be in good shape. We're going to pad those totals.
And that's a base hit.
Our hitters in good direction tonight. Cahill got to the ball quickly enough, and with all his momentum going away from first base, he wisely held on to this. The only thing you can do is get yourself in trouble when you catch it that close to the line on a bare hand. You concede the single.
So here's Beckham. And, of course, with that home run by Dunn, the Alex Snellius family will donate $100 to White Sox charities for every Sox home hit throughout the course of the season. That is number 67. So $6,700 donated by Alex Snellius. My buddy Alex Snellius, in loving memory of Ursula. Breaking ball. Gordon had an infield single. We have had 3 infield singles. Well, game that KO pitched against us on May 15th. He made some mistakes, got the ball up. We got him for 4 runs on 10 hits in that one. There's a breaking ball strike. And after the game, the then manager Bob Guerin said that's the worst he's been all season.
And today he's left a lot of sinkers up in the zone early.
And he got away with a few. Couple with Quentin. One and 2 the count.
That start not too good against the Red Sox.
And there's a base hit right back through the middle. Got that one up. Gordon teed off on it. And a reminder that the Sox and Cubs rivalry continues as the winner of the series takes home the BP Crosstown Cup. White Sox at Cubs. Check that. White Sox versus Cubs here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So here's Pierre. One walked with the bases loaded last inning to pick up his 15th RBI. First pitch strike. Five, 7-0 for us. 1-4-1 for them. Change up. So 0-2 the count. Driscoll at second, Beckham at first.
Kramer loosening up in the bullpen. Can Costanza be far away?
And that could be a lot of trouble right there. Another base hit via the infield route. And that'll load them up. Don't stop now, boys.
Well, you have those nights where you couldn't roll the ball any better. And that's the way this one was. Far enough away from Suzuki to make it a very tough play. He can't get the handle, but it loads them up. Romanek coming to the mound once again. He wants Kramer to get nice and loose in that bullpen.
Well, the best thing he can do is doing what he's doing right now. Get him smiling, because, hey, he's making the pitches.
And they're beating the ball in the ground. They're just not,
worms.
they're not hitting them hard enough to really get them out.
So here's Alexei. He had a little infield RBI single last inning. Come on, Alexei, base hit right here will really take a lot of wind out of their sails.
Especially the way their offense has been.
Takes ball one.
Cahill about ready to deliver pitch number 72. And we're still in the bottom of the third inning.
Takes ball two. There you make him get it up and pickle it. Three and 0. Quentin on deck. Sacks packed with good guys. And there's ball four. It is 6-1. And here comes Melvin.
Well, this will be the first time that Bob Melvin has gone to the mound as the Oakland Athletics skipper and made a pitching change. So Kramer comes in, Cahill departs, and we'll be back after these messages. And it is Bobby Kramer. That's what he's done so far in limited action. This is only his 5th appearance. And the left-hander inherits some big problems in a game that is slowly starting to slip away from the Athletics.
Well, Sox for the 2nd inning in a row. Bat around. Paulie started off last inning, and Paulie started off this inning, and here's Quentin once again with the Sox packed, 2 out. Last inning he struck out. Takes ball 1 from the 31-year-old veteran left-hander. And the count 2-0. Don't help him out. A little tardy right there on that 90-mile-an-hour fastball on a 2-0 count.
From a pitcher who hasn't had much of any major league experience. He bounced around the minor leagues since 2003, and actually 3 different years didn't play due to injuries.
He's paid his dues. Sox packed, 2 out. And the 2-1 pitch. That's high in the center field. And that'll retire the side. But 3 more across the plate. We'll go to the 4th, leading 6-1.
Bell. Open 1 a.m. or later.
Top of the 4th inning. Mark Buehrle with a 6-1 lead. Cahill went 2 2/3. Gave up to 6 runs. All earned on 8 hits.
This is probably the worst inning or the first outing that Cale has just had no command. Wild in the strike zone, which is actually more times worse than being just plain wild. He got lit up.
Well, he's probably had his 2 worst outings of this year against us.
Last time out against Boston wasn't particularly effective.
2-2. And that's foul. So Suzuki, who singled with 1 out back in the second and came around to score. He is now 10 for 24 lifetime off Burley. Vizquel. One out. Cale in 2 2/3 inning through 76 pitches. And win tickets to see the Sox take on the Cubs and the chance to deliver the starting lineup card during the Sox-Cubs series here at US Cellular Field June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. So look in your June 19th Sunday Chicago Tribune for more details. Matsui. Singled into right field his first trip. We'll get a shift on for him in the infield. Bit of a gap out there in left center. Come back and get him. No walks. There's one. That's way now 4 for 17 lifetime off Burley.
He jumped on a first pitch out of the strike zone, either a cutter or fastball last time up.
And a full count. He gone.
Lefty to lefty changeup. After working him away the entire at bat. He just throws a changeup
with good movement.
Just died at the end.
Yeah. So here's Rosales. He singled and knocked in Suzuki back in the second. Bottom of the fifth in Minnesota, Texas, and the Twinkies are tied at 1. And the count 2-1. Graduated Rosales from Maine High School in Park Ridge in 2001. And that's a souvenir right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out here in the top of the fourth. 6-1 White Sox. And another souvenir. It is a final from Detroit. Verlander, the winner, 4-1 over Seattle. And a full count.
David DeJesus in the on-deck circle. Mark Buehrle probably not used to getting 6 runs early. Hasn't happened to him too many times.
That's since he's been in the White Sox uniform. Here you go. 1-2-3 inning. Couple of strikeouts for Mark. Go to the bottom of the fourth. 6-1 White Sox.
Longest tenured manager in the American League. And the answer? Mike Scioscia. He's been around since the year 2000. And there are some long tenured managers. Scioscia, Gardner, Ozzie is third, followed very closely by Terry Francona.
It'll be Konerko, Pierzynski, and Rios to face the southpaw Bobby Kramer here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Takes first pitch strike. Paulie has grounded to second, and he has grounded hard to short. Breaking ball, no. There's a good breaking ball. And the count 1-2. Rain today in Philadelphia, where the Phillies lead the Cubs 3-0. Checks it up, and the count 2-2. Top of the eighth in Pittsburgh. D-backs shutting out the Buccos 2-0. That breaking ball, Pennington, and that's out number one. And a reminder, Bacardi at the Park is now open, offering a full menu from Gibson's Restaurant Group. With or without a game ticket, Bacardi at the Park is open to fans at 11 a.m. before all home games. Located at Gate 5 Plaza north of 35th Street, right across the street from beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Nice place, good food. 70. Over 70 flat screen HD TVs. First pitch strike to A.J., who has walked, singled, and scored twice. That curveball. Jemile Weeks. 5'9", 160 pounds. One of the great things about this game of baseball, they come in all sizes and shapes.
And usually, when they draft you, you get to tell them how tall you are, especially when they're scouting you. And 5'9" seems to be a little optimistic for the young man.
First pitch strike to Rios. Start him off with a changeup. Alex is 1 for 2 with a run scored.
Well, you can have a guy as small as Dustin Pedroia win the MVP. And saying anybody can play here with the talent.
See where Dustin's having some problems with his knee. Last year it was his foot, now it's his knee.
Well, he got rolled in the middle of first and second base. And hit him right on what appeared to be the left knee. I'm not sure if it was Roberts. It was somebody, I believe, from Baltimore that got him.
The 1-2 pitch. A 1-2-3 inning for Kramer, and we're into the 5th. If you are the 500 texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway. David DeJesus, Jemile Weeks, and Coco Crisp. First pitch strike. DeJesus popped up to Rios in center. 6 runs on 8 hits. No errors for our guys. 1 run on 4 hits. 1 error for their guys. And the count 1-2.
Mark's thrown that change up to the lefties tonight. It's usually pretty effective, although most left-handed pitchers don't do that.
Right off the end of the bat.
Oh, nice
Gallego making another play.
Nice play by Gallego. Mike, longtime Major League infielder, and the third base coach for these Athletics.
DeJesus now 13 for 76 lifetime against Burley. Boy, what a West Coast turnaround this weather's been. Day before yesterday, I drove in the parking lot here for that game against Seattle. It was 101 degrees. And my car, is he gone?
It's in the high 40s now.
Well, I drive in the parking lot today and it was 51. So 50 degrees difference.
.48 degrees.
So that is 3 in a row that Burley has struck out. And here's Weeks, who hit a little soft comebacker to mark. No, Jemile looks like he's about 14, 15 years old. Out of Orlando, Lake Brantley High School. Jason Varitek. Out of Lake Brantley High School. And Burley's going to get him again. 2 down.
Well, Mark Burley has 3 strikeouts tonight. Those are their career leaders for the White Sox pitchers. Billy Pierce on top. And Mark Burley sneaking up on Wilbur Wood.
Oh, Willie. Out of Belmont, Massachusetts. Wilbur, a good guy.
He had a pretty good knuckleball for a lot of years.
Yeah, he did. He was a good pitcher. And those knuckleballers are obviously staff savers as well. It still just mystifies me. And you and I have talked about it before. It just mystifies me why teams don't take pitchers in that gray area. Minor leaguers who have decent stuff, but they don't get it done. And it doesn't look like they're going to make the big leagues. And why they don't take them and get the guy to either change their motion or teach them a knuckleball. Got nothing to lose. And if you were to get one every couple of years out of there, it'd be well worth it.
All you have to do is talk to many of the infielders around who seem to have better knuckleballs than the pitchers, because that's all they work on the sidelines.
I tell you, outside of Hoyt Wilhelms, the best knuckleball I ever saw was Mickey Mouse. Count hangs at 2-2. I saw him just beat John Blanchard to death one day in old Yankee Stadium.
Trying to handle it?
Yeah. They had a bet going. Blanchard, I mean, it just ate him alive. He gone. He knew it. 1, 2, 3 inning. We're halfway home, leading by 5. Adam was hit by a pitch in the second inning and scored. And then in the third inning, with A.J. aboard, we will show you after the pitch. And if you missed it,
big man finally got a sinker out over the plate. And just far enough.
Homer number 6. He now has 25 RBIs. And the count 2-1.
Since 2004, second. 288 home runs for Adam Duck.
Outfield about equidistant, spread out slightly to the left. Got him.
Take a look at where the 5 appears. Strike.
Perfect pitch.
24th.
Kramer has come in here and retired all 6 he has seen.
24th time Adam has gone down looking.
Omar has a sacrifice fly, an infield single, and a run scored. And the count evens at 1. Top of the 6th in Minneapolis. Twins leading Texas 4-3. Kramer's featured a good curveball so far. Started to go from the stretch. Caught himself.
That's a sign of, if a guy throws from a windup and then suddenly goes to a stretch with nobody on, it's a guy that's used to giving up a lot of hits. There's the straight motion. And a little cutter in on the hands of Omar, who fights it off and fouls it off.
There you go. 3 strikeouts for Kramer. Chekhov Suzuki's is going to go with a curveball. The previous pitch was a good curveball that Omar swung and missed. Shook him off, went to the fastball, and Omar was still looking for the curve.
It's tough to get outguessed on a fastball down the middle, but it happens. Happens a lot.
Better believe it. Starts him off with a changeup high and wide. Beckham is 2 for 2.
Kramer's attempted a changeup. He didn't pull down on it, as Mark Burley has been doing tonight.
And hits the outside corner at 90. Just turning in. A's 1 in the second. Sox 3 in the second. Sox added 3 more in the third. Pennington on the short hop got him. So that is 8 up, 8 down for Kramer.
more with these Athletics right here at U.S. Cellular Field. Then it's an off day, and we hit the road. See the Twins and the Diamondbacks in the next installment of interleague play.
Here's Pennington. Takes ball one. Pennington is 1 for 2, had an infield single. And that should be a can of corn. So with one out, that'll bring up the first baseman, Conor Jackson. Jackson has bounced back to Burley and is lined out to Rios in left center. And that's into left center. So 2 down. And a reminder, the Ozzie plan includes your choice of 13 games, including the BP Crosstown Cup Series against the Cubs and matchups against the Twins, Yankees, and Red Sox. Ozzie plan is available right now. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Willingham 0 for 2. There's a change-up strike. And the count 0-2 to the 32-year-old veteran. That ball hit into center field. Nice, easy 1-2-3 inning. That is 11 in a row retired by Burley, and he leads it by 5. Galaxy White Sox postgame live. Watch highlights and get analysis from Chuck and Bill. Plus, go live to Ozzie's postgame remarks. You don't want to miss that. So don't miss Galaxy White Sox postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Top of the order here in the bottom of the 6th. Pierre, Ramirez, and Quentin to face Bobby Kramer, who's retired everybody he's seen, all 8 of them. If you're just tuning in, Kramer in relief with Trevor Cahill. Trevor, just an outstanding young 23-year-old right-hander for Oakland. Last 2 outings against us, the one on back on May 15th, and then this one tonight, probably the 2 worst of his season. He's a good one. He's a keeper.
Well, there's no doubt he's going to be one of the staff leaders.
Yeah.
This Oakland team is going to have to find offense somewhere. And it just isn't here.
Well, I don't know what they got in their system, but
not much. It's not. It's not a loaded system at all.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then they're going to have to trade some of this pitching. That's just a little looper caught by Coco. They're playing him shallow. So 1 out, and that'll bring up Alexei, who is 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. And a reminder, make your plans, leave with us tomorrow night here at beautiful US Cellular Field. Edwin Jackson against Graham Godfrey. Then on Saturday, Johnny Danks against Gio Gonzalez, 25-year-old southpaw who last year was 15-9 for this ball club. Former Sox farmhand. Twice. And then on Sunday, Umber against Moscoso, 27-year-old right-hander. There's a Doc Edwards shot. A little soft pop-up. 2 down. Kramer is just dazzling our guys.
Well, he came in throwing all strikes, getting even the breaking ball over the plate, and attacking the strike zone, which at the end of the day, for any pitcher, is going to make him very good.
That breaking ball, again, with him, set up everything. Quentin 0 for 3. That breaking ball no good. 2-0. Three and nothing. Three-one pitch. Watch out.
Sounded like a broken bat. Went right back up the middle. Over the head of Kramer and out into center field.
So that breaks a streak of 10 in a row retired by Bobby Kramer. And here's Paulie. Paulie's due. He's 0 for 3. 3 ground balls. 2 to short and 1 to second. And he's got the catbird seat. And there's a shot. So Paulie gets on the board. Quentin will pull up at second. And that'll bring up AJ. AJ is 1 for 2 with a couple of runs scored.
But that base hit by Quinton and the base hit by Konerko, everyone in the lineup has at least one hit tonight.
It's pretty good considering you've only got 10 hits.
Only Beckham has 2. That's it.
One-0 pitch. Now he's got the catbird seat. But Rios on deck, and Suzuki wants to have a little.
Breslow and Ziegler. Ziegler, the right-hander, kind of warms up over the top, which is most unusual because when he's out on the mound, he throws from almost submarine level. Romanek out to the mound again. He's had a busy night. That's usually not a good sign on the scoreboard or for your pitching staff.
Two on, 2 out to 2-0. Takes it up.
I think he fouled it off. Nope.
And the count 3-1. Oh, now you say it's 2-2. So he did foul. And that's out of play. Six 10-0 for us. 1-4-1 for them. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, if you're just joining us. Pretty good breaking ball right there. Good job by AJ to stay with it just to foul it off.
Yeah, that was something to keep the at bat alive. Watch Kramer's breaking ball, which is late breaking and very sharp. And AJ able to get it off the end of the bat to force at least one more pitch.
And another souvenir. Yeah, that previous curveball was a left-handed Steve Stone curveball.
But nobody ever hit mine on the ground. They didn't. They all popped it up. Yep. I don't know why. Still don't know to this day.
Oh, you made a mistake with that one. Stretch. No, back in front of the track. He got a cookie right there. Meanwhile, that'll be Tyler side. We're into the 7th, leading 6-1. Coming up tonight after post-game live, a complete wrap-up from this game. Plus, we'll take you a look back to the Blackhawks Stanley Cup win 1 year ago today. So join Mark and Luke for GMC Sportsnet Central tonight at post-game live, only on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Top of the 7th, Suzuki, Matsui, and Rosales. Curtis single scored, and he has grounded to third.
America just sailing right along to this point. One rough spot in the second inning. 3 straight singles produced a run, and that's been it.
That's the approach that he had with his first at bat. And that's the approach you got to take off a left-hander if you're a right-handed hitter. Rake him off the mound.
Well, the first one went to the throwing side. That one went to the glove side, and they both went through the middle.
So here is Matsui. A single and a strikeout. Struck him out on a 3-2 changeup. They got the shift on. That's one of the things that is in this culture that we have today in baseball, and in the past culture that's been lost, so to speak. That ball hit deep.
That's lost also.
And it's a 6-3 ball game. So the A's right back in this one. Matsui's 4th homer.
.22 RBIs for Hideki Matsui. And our Ford home run replay. This one for Matsui couldn't have been better if you put it on a tee. Low one on the inner portion and gone. 7th home run only given up by Mark Buehrle this year in 85 innings of work.
And here's Rosales, who's 1 for 2, an RBI single and a strikeout. But what's been lost is the fact in years past it was amazing how much hitters would talk to pitchers about hitting.
Not much anymore.
No, I mean it's mystifies me. And what they would talk to him about, for an example, I was talking with one of our young hitters about 6 or 7 years ago, and Buehrle was standing there. Maybe it was 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, I was talking to him about on left-handed pitching. He was a right-handed hitter. On left-handed pitching, you got to try to center your thoughts and your process on right and right center. And when you get to change up, try to knock him off the mound. So I was standing there with him, and Buehrle was listening. And I looked at Mark and I said, Mark, what do you hate the most from a right-handed hitter? And he says, guys that try to hit me into right and right center.
I felt the same way with my curveball. Jim Rice and Buddy Bell both spread out, knew that they could get a run on the inside fastball, and went the other way.
Mark knocks it down with his pitching hand.
I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but it was effective. Here's our Home Depot doing more on defense. Mark Buehrle has seen a few go by him. He was going to make sure this one didn't get by him. Little easy one hopper after it hit off his pitching hand, but he's okay.
And here's De Jesus, who has popped to center and struck out. But what you will do, you'll talk to pitchers. I had a roommate named Ralph Terry, who was a former 20-game winner with the Yankees when I was at Kansas City. I was a young hitter, and he was a veteran on his way out, so to speak. And I asked him, I said, I call him Moss because of his hair. I said, Moss, I said, what would you do if I got a man on third base and I come to the plate with less than 2 out? He said, you'd be easy. He said, at first pitch, I'd show you a fastball up and in off the plate. Not for a strike. You'd take it. Then I'd come back with a curveball. I'd come back with another curveball. I'd throw you another fastball, maybe underneath your chin. Come back with another curveball, and you're gone. Well, that ball smoked.
Another right back up the middle shot.
So here is Jamal Weeks, who twice has gone back to Burley.
Seventh inning, we're going to get some work in the bullpen for the first time tonight, as Mark has hit his second rough patch of the game.
Second inning, he's given up 3 hits, and one of them left the premises. And that has popped up. Beckham giving way to Quentin, makes the catch, and that's out number 2.
It's Chris Sale that's loosening in the pen. Juan Nieves just put the phone down. Might have indicated that Sale is ready to go.
That'll bring up Coco Crisp, who's 0 for 2. One of the things that's taking him, if you're home listening to what we're talking about now, you might be saying, well, why did hitters stop doing that? Well, what's happened is because baseball has become so specialized. And even to the extent of the coaches, that hitting coaches have so much responsibility, they don't want their hitters talking with getting other ideas in their head. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of that has been lost over the years, because the responsibility of the hitters is strictly with the hitting coach. As AJ's got him, and that'll do it. But the 2-run homer by Matsui, 7th inning stretch, Sox lead at 6-3. Alex Rios here in the bottom of the 7th inning against Bobby Kramer, who has been really good since coming on back in the 3rd. Kramer's retired. Everybody he's seen, with the exception of Quentin and Konerko, had back-to-back 2-out singles last inning. And that's chop foul.
Jeff Cox sees Mike Gallego make a play, and then he has to make one of his own. Good range on that one. He's dropped a lot of weight, the young man. Give him credit.
Well, if you had as much bet on it as he did, you would too.
Well, now there's a little incentive there. I wasn't going to go into the motivation for it, but yeah, he can pick up a few bucks from some concerned players that perhaps he had let himself go just a touch. But I think he's going to make it.
That's low and in, 2-2. Texas has just tied up Minnesota at 4. Hitting in the top of the 8th. Nelson Cruz homer. And there's a base hit. That a boy. Alex, good way to start it. Let's get those 2 runs back.
He's got a couple of hits tonight. We've seen more shots back up the middle tonight from both teams than we've seen from teams in a while.
Adam can't get the breaking ball. Kramer struck him out back in the 5th. Adam 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored. He was hit by a pitch and scored in the 2nd. Hit that 2-run homer to left field in the 3rd. Another breaking ball. Yes, so there have been some screaming Mimis hit back through that middle tonight. That's off the end of the bat. Just a hair quick, and Adam knows it. A 32nd of a second later, and that ball's out of here.
Well, Adam, to his credit, has had a lot of extra work on this homestand. That was one of the few hanging curveballs Kramer's thrown. And unfortunately, Dunn got it off the end of the bat. Didn't get much into it.
No, that's the kind, if you're swinging the bat decent, it's gone. So here's Omar. Omar is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. And there's a broken bat base hit. So Alex will pull up at second. 2 on, 1 out.
And here comes Bob Melvin again. I think he's squeezed about all he can possibly squeeze, as he'll go to Brad Ziegler, I believe, because he gave the motion from underneath. So Ziegler comes in. Kramer steps out, and we'll be back.
At 7:10, our White Sox take on the Cubs. Wednesday, June 22nd is presented by United. United, proud to fly the Chicago White Sox. So for tickets, call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com.
Our Toyota called to the pen. Excuse me, our Honda called to the pen. It's Brad Ziegler, 1-0, ERA 2.11. He's got a couple of holds. You see left-handers, because he throws from down under, hit him very well. Right-handers, not so much.
Gordon normally has got a real good approach on these sidewinders. Just walks right toward him and tries to take him into right field. Let's see what he does tonight.
Well, he's got very much of an open right side. Jemile Weeks is playing up the middle.
He was trying to take him into right.
Got Jackson playing off the line.
There goes. Oh, what a play by Rosales. Wow. As Rios is gunned down, a beautiful pick and tag by Adam Rosales.
Wasn't the best throw that Suzuki is going to make this year, but he gets a little help from Rosales. Picks it cleanly and then puts the glove down to wait for Alex to arrive.
Three and one to count. Alex now 4 for 8 in stolen bases this year. Nice pick by Pennington. So he gets a little help from his defense right there. And we'll go to the 8th. Here's a handsome man. As we got a pitching change.
We got Jesse Crain coming into the game. And Jesse at 2-2, ERA 3.38, out for the 27th time. Last time out, not a particularly good performance, but he's had a very good year to this point. And he's got a 3-run lead to protect.
Pennington, Jackson, and Willingham. Pennington 1 for 3, had an infield single back in the third. Now field straight up, spread out. First pitch, fastball strike. And to count 1-1. High and wide. No walks, Jesse. Don't need any free passes. The dreaded leadoff walk. So here's Jackson, who's 0 for 3.
Jackson, the #1 pick of the Arizona Diamondbacks. In a year they had 2 first-round picks. Connor Jackson 1. And Carlos Quentin, the other first-round pick.
Jesse misses up high again.
And Fuentes loosening up in the bullpen.
Jesse lately has really been having trouble getting the ball down.
That was a rolling curveball that went out of the yard last time.
There was a changeup.
Chris Sale should be ready to go if called upon.
And the count 2-1. Leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 8th inning. 6-12-0 for our Sox. 3-7-1 for their A's. Just off the end of the bat. 2-2.
Jackson is grounded into 6 double plays this year, which ties him for the team lead.
And a full count. Taking him to the wall. There he goes. And that's popped up. Center field. Alex. And 1 out. And you can organize a group outing of 20 or more during the season. Purchase a block of tickets or enhance your outing with one of 6 great party areas. That's the Bertucci boys out there. They'll party with you. Call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. Willingham twice has gone out to center and once has hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. Threw that one right by him.
Another good outing for Mark Buehrle, who stands to be the winner in this one with 5 more outs.
Yep. Big 5 outs. Mark trying to pick up his 6th victory of the season and his 17th career victory against Oakland. He came in 16-9.
Outfield exactly straight up for Willingham.
He gone. 2 down.
95-mile-an-hour fastball. It's up in the zone, actually up just about the top of the zone, or maybe a little out of it. But a good pitch when you have the hitter in a hole.
Right. If it's a 2-0 fastball, it's not a good pitch.
Then it's 3-0. But if he's got to protect, that's a good pitch.
So here's Suzuki. He is 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. This little guy always plays well against us. I'm sure he plays well against a lot of other clubs, but against us he really plays well. And that's out of play right side. He is close to a 300 hitter against us. Came in at 293.
And the Athletics signed him to a long-term deal to be one of their building blocks for the future. He's got as much mobility behind the plate as probably any catcher in the game.
Curveball. Omar. And that'll do it. So he walks the leadoff hitter, pitches over that, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th, still leading 6-3. As our White Sox take on these A's. Stroll down memory lane with 70s themes throughout the broadcast. White Sox A's tomorrow night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.
And that's what it's going to look like the rest of the series. Graham Godfrey against Edwin Jackson. Gio Gonzalez against Johnny Danks. And Moscoso against Umber. Brian Fuentes comes into the game. Fuentes 1-7. ERA 4.05. On for the 29th time. He has been the closer, 11 saves.
And he's got Juan Pierre, Alexei Ramirez, and Quentin. First pitch strike. Pierre has faced him 7 times, has 1 hit. Six-3 Sox. There's the ball. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, it's been a while since he has had that nice, perfect bunt base hit.
Well, he caught Rosales back at third. He saw him, realized he was not going to play in on the grass, and laid down a perfect bunt. Now Rosales gets off as good a throw as he can possibly get off, but it's not near in time.
So here is Alexei. Alexei 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. An infield single back in the second to knock in the run, and walked with the bases loaded in the third. First and third, Alexei.
Now he hit him in the batter's box. Emphatically called by Brian O'Nora.
Yeah, that would not have had to have been perfect either. With Rosales playing way back.
It's a good idea, but it bounced up and hit him in the knee.
Oh, and 1 to count. Alexei 0 for 2 lifetime against Fuentes. And the count 0 and 2. Quentin on deck. Quentin 0 for 11 lifetime off Fuentes.
He hides the ball pretty well. Hasn't been overpowering for a long time. And he was a guy that started a little controversy by talking about lack of communication with his manager. And now he's got a new manager. We'll see how the communication is.
And that'll get the job done. Juan's going to make the turn. Alexei will pull up, so indeed he first and thirds him. And that'll bring up Quentin.
Lexi continues its solid night. This looked like a changeup. It was well out of the strike zone. But Lexi right on top of the plate. Drills it into left field. And Juan Pierre daring Willingham to try to throw him out at third, which would have let the trailer Ramirez go to second. But he didn't.
Clinton's 1 for 4. As I mentioned, 0 for 11 against Fuentes. They'll get one in. And it's a 7-3 Sox lead.
'46th run batted in. And a big insurance run.
Better believe it. So here's Paulie. Paulie's the only guy on our team that's had success against Fuentes. 280. He's 3 for 6 with 2 home runs. Omar has had some success. 4 for 12. Takes it right there. 0-1 to count. Change up. Come on, Paulie. 1st and 30. That's high and deep stretch. Willingham back, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. That's not a lack of communication.
No, it was not. It's now a 6-run lead. Home run number 15. Paulie's got 49 driven in. Our Ford home run replay tries to sneak this ball by him inside. Good luck trying to do that. And it goes into the pen. A little more comfortable for the boys tonight.
Well, here's AJ. He's 1 for 3. Couple of runs scored. AJ almost went out of here. Back in the 6th inning. Deep to left field. And that's popped up. And that's not going to be playable.
Will Oman now loosening up in the pen.
Paulie now 4 for 7 with 3 home runs off Fuentes.
AJ wanted to swing at that slider.
AJ wants to swing at everything.
It was just too far inside.
Two and 2 the count. And make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. 70s night. Edwin Jackson against Graham Godfrey. Can't make it. That game will be over Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
Another good swing. That one hits him right on the Sox logo if he doesn't make any contact with it.
Once again, the 2-2. That changeup hit pretty hard. Meanwhile, so that's tomorrow night. Jackson against Godfrey. Then on Saturday, Danks against Gio Gonzalez. 25-year-old southpaw for the A's against our 26-year-old southpaw who just picked up his first victory of the season. Yes, he did. 2 down. If you can't make it on Saturday, that game will be over WGN. And in the finale of this 4-game set and this 10-game homestand, Phil Humber, who has been nothing short of sensational for us this year, against Moscoso. And that game back here on Comcast Sportsnet. Go on, Alex, get greedy. Get yourself another one. He's got 2 tonight. He's 2 for 4 with a run scored. Well, most of your good hitters are really greedy.
No wasted at bats. That's the secret to a great year and a great career. I don't care what the score is. You know yourself, if you don't have any wasted at bats, you're going to wind up with pretty good numbers at the end of the year. If you get 2, you're always looking for the 3rd. Get 3, looking for 4.
Well, 2 was about my limit.
Yeah, but if there were 2 good ones, it didn't matter.
The 1-2. Just off the corner. And that's just off the end of the bat. 9 runs, 15 hits, no errors for us. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for them. Rangers hitting in the top of the 9th, tied at 4 with the Twinkies. Got him. But 3 runs across the plate. Paul Konerko his 15th homer. A 2-run shot, and we'll go to the 9th, leading 9-3.
And Will Oman will take the mound, protecting a 6-run lead. 3 outs to go. Get Mark Buehrle, win number 6. So Oman, no record. 5.63 ERA on for the 21st time.
So after Jesse walked the leadoff hitter last night, he just came roaring back, retiring the next 3 easily. So here we go. Matsui, 2 for 3. A 2-run homer, his 4th of the season, coming in the 7th inning. Low ball 1. Got the shift on. Alexei over on the first base side of second. Boy, Will. 1-2. 1-2 to the 36-year-old Matsui. What a career he has had over in Japan and coming over here. Probably the best clutch hitter on that Yankee ball club when he had the pinstripes on.
Well, he had some great years, and he had some terrific years defensively also. They counted on him to get some big hits for them, and he certainly came through.
Yes, he did. He's been a warrior in that respect. Tell me, the guy has been a terrific 7th, 8th, and 9th inning hitter. Not too many guys can do that. Full count. Payoff. He gone. He knew it. 1 down.
Works him away. And on our Dodge pitch tracks, we'll show you one that had the entire outside corner at 92.
I'll tell you what, Onora's been right on the money tonight. Boy, I have not seen one hitter.
No, nobody complained about anything.
Adam Rosales takes strike 1. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Cues that one over into the A's dugout. And that's into center field. 2 down. Here's De Jesus. Takes first pitch strike. 22,170. And they have been A lively group tonight.
Lots to cheer about early.
Yeah, well, we fell behind 1-0 top of the second, and then we came right back with 3 in the second. Added 3 more in the third, and then 3 in the eighth. He did not go. Adam Dunn, a 2-run homer in the third, and Paul Konerko, a 2-run homer in the eighth. For Adam, his 6th. For Paulie, his 15th. Matsui homered for them, his 4th. Burley in line for his 17th career victory over this Oakland ball club. And Oakland in line to lose their 10th in a row. Not on that breaking ball.
Second hit for DeJesus.
Jemile Weeks 0 for 3. Twice he went back to Burley, and then he popped up to right. First pitch strike. "24-year-old out of Orlando, Florida." And that's foul back. So the count 0-2. Jesus was off. Paulie playing by way back behind him. He started to come up with it.
Looked like he wanted to call it. And at the last instant, I mean, it was up and out of the zone. Watch where the 3 appears and dodge pitch tracks. He thought about it and then went, okay, it's 9:57. We got some time.
Got 3 minutes yet. And the 1-2. And that hit him. He didn't want to do that. So now 2 out, 2 on. No, they say now come back.
Looked like it hit before his foot, and now Bob Melvin wants an explanation from Brian O'Nora, who will gladly give him one. Now it goes as a wild pitch.
Yeah. Much better than that. HBP.
First wild pitch of the year for Omen.
And the 2-2. That is popped up. Nobody's going to get there. So the Jesus will score on the duck snort by Weeks. Then it's 9-4.
First run batted in this year for Jemile Weeks. Little looper to center.
So here's Crisp. Takes low ball 1. Coco is 0 for 3 with a walk. And there's a strike. Now Weeks at second. And the count 1-2 to the 31-year-old switch hitting center fielder Coco Crisp. There you will. Two balls, two strikes, two out. He gone. Change up, and this ball game is over. So the Sox take the first of this 4-game set and make it 4-3 on this homestand thus far as they win it 9-4. Mark Buehrle picking up his 6th victory of the season, and Buehrle once again being Buehrle.
And he beat their best. This figured to be the toughest game of the series with Cahill going. Another tough one when Gio Gonzalez goes, but got to take advantage of it when you got a crippled baseball team. Oakland is just that. The Sox win the first game of a 4-game that culminates with us heading to Minnesota.
All right, and let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is our 32-year-old southpaw, Mark Buehrle. Now 39 games over 500. He stands at 153 and 114. He is 1-1 this year against the A's and 17-9 lifetime against Oakland. Our GMC player of the game. So the Sox, once again, a reminder, be with us tomorrow night. Edwin Jackson against Graham Godfrey. If you can't, that game will be over Comcast Sportsnet Plus.
And a lot of heroes tonight. Got the offense early. Got the offense late.
Adam Dunn did a great job with that opposite field home run. It made him feel good. It made the club feel good. And as you mentioned, got us off to a great start.
I mean, that was one of the best parts of what happened tonight.
Right now, let's go down to the field level.
Chris Bowden here with Gordon Beckham after the 9-4 victory over Oakland. When you have 6 guys get 2 hits apiece on a night like this, even though the big guys went deep tonight, what does that say about this offense?
We're playing well, and we're getting good pitches to hit, and we were able to get a really good pitcher tonight, and we got a little lucky there with some of them, but we were able to get some really good good hits off of them, and we were able to score a lot of runs.
When you give Mark Buehrle a 6-1 lead that early, how comfortable are you guys?
We're usually pretty comfortable, and he proved why. I mean, he just rolled after we got those runs, and it was good to get him some runs early and let him roll.
How gratifying was it for everybody, and how happy was everybody on the bench to see number 32 set off some fireworks tonight?
I mean, he's getting hot. I'm calling it right now. So we're excited for him, and he's been working really hard, and we're looking forward to the rest of the summer with that guy.
And finally getting back on track after I'm sure what was a disappointing extra inning loss last night as you were looking for the sweep, keeping this team that comes into town down right now and getting back on the right track for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think after last night we let it go, and we came back to the park ready to work, and some good things came out of it, so it was good to get that win.
Gordon, thank you for this.
Thank you.
That's Gordon Beckham after the 9-4 win over Oakland.
All right, Chris Bowden, thank you very much. So for my partner, Steve Stone, our director, Jim Angio, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Keon Dolashahi, our technical manager, Mark Harper, the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., also for the mayor, Mean Joe Groove. And up here in the booth, we got Mike Mayer, Frank Leone, Frank D'Amato. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody.